No, it's the waiting for 3 hours in complete ignorant bliss for me.
How did I get through to the gate without a passport?
Actually, yeah.
You tell me, because I don't know.
Hi guys, and welcome back. Welcome to episode 4 of the Airplane Mode Podcast with EF Ultimate Break. I'm your host, Sarah Baus, and Airplane Mode Podcast is a creator-to-creator travel podcast where we talk about inspiration, we share stories, we share tips, and we hear from our community just like you. So go ahead, turn on airplane mode, and let's get started. Today, I'm talking with Marissa Meizz. She is a travel creator. She is the founder of No More Lonely Friends. And honestly, I'm going to give you a warning right now. Do not go to her page unless you are ready to book a ticket, because you are not ready for the vibes. It is so fun. And I went in and immediately just go ahead and put her page up, start watching, put up Google flights, because you're going to be ready to go. Marissa, I watched her content and I was like, oh, I don't know if this girl knows it. I know you know it now because I DM'd you a proposal. I was like, she's gonna be my friend. We're gonna be friends, and it's gonna be great.
And listen, I am all here for it. That's what my MO is. I want to be friends.
I was like, oh, I know she's gonna get the energy. No more lonely friends. There's no more lonely to me. It's us now.
It's just for you, actually. I made the whole thing for you.
Oh, really?
Yeah.
Oh, I knew it. Thank you so much. I'm so excited to be chatting with you. I'm cracking up at, this is our first time, talking.
Yeah.
Actually talking, because we've been voice noting back and forth. And yeah, I was like, this girl is you're so funny. You're so adventurous. Your personality, let me just dote on you for a second, really radiates through all of your content, which I love. I want to hear more about how you started specifically, No More Lonely Friends. We don't have to jump in there if you want to give a spiel about yourself. And then I want to hear about founding this community.
My whole entire life, I kind of just loved bringing people together, and that was my big thing. I always wanted to be a public speaker and talk to people and bring different, groups together. In school, I was always hanging out with different crews and then bringing everyone together for a party or a get-together, whatever it is. And I think that just followed me throughout my life, and I always worked kind of in the media space. I did video production. I did a lot of stuff growing up. I made, iMovie type stuff on my mom's computer growing up, and it just followed me forever. And I love just all the aspects of editing and video production itself. And so I was in the social media space for a while since it started, and I never did it full time or anything like that. And then I started working for YouTubers back in the day, OG YouTubers, and doing their videos, editing their videos, shooting their videos, coming up with concepts for them. And throughout the years, I was like, when is it going to be my time? I know I would be really good at this in front of the camera. And it just never really, worked in a general sense of me just trying to do it. But I became friends with a lot of social media people, so that helped a lot. And just kind of seeing the back end of things, how things worked. And then over the years, it just built and built and built. And then overnight, I just had a viral video on TikTok, right after COVID. And it blew up overnight. I hit 100K in one day, and it was nuts, and I didn't know what to do, and I was like, wait, what? And No More Lonely Friends basically came out of it, and I hosted a meetup maybe a week later, and 200 plus people came, 300 people came to this meetup in Central Park in New York.
A week after this viral video?
Yeah, and it just happened so quick. I didn't know what to do, and I was like, whoa, let's all meet up in Central Park. Let's all do it. Let's all be friends. And then people were like, wait, I love this. Let's keep doing this, and let's keep doing them in different places. So then I just started traveling and hosting these meetups for people to make friends just all around the world. And I did 30 states in 5 different countries or something like that. And it just worked, and everyone loved it, and I loved it. And I just love bringing people together. So it just happened, and overnight, and it was quick.
Oh my God, that is quick. Are you naturally an extrovert?
Oh, for sure. Yeah. No.
Yeah. I was like, I'm getting that vibe.
I was getting that, talks too much in class, will not shut up,
Shut up. Very engaged.
Which I think is a great thing.
Yeah. Won't stop talking to her partner. Well, they're right there.
Yeah, my
I
bad.
have things to say.
Put me on it.
Obsessed. Okay. So, how did you transfer? So, I guess it kind of happened naturally, where it was a viral video, and then it was you posted and said, hey, we're going to meet up. And then you chose to sort of separate this group and make that an online community?
It kind of just was, I was posting on, I made an Instagram page for the meetups for No More Lonely Friends, and I made the Instagram, and then I was just posting the meetups there, and I was like, the point of it obviously is to meet up in person and not just online. So I did the first meetup, and then people were like, oh, well, are you going to continue this? Well, people were DMing me like, you should do it in this city, you should do it here, like, oh, we really need it here. And it was right after COVID, so like it was kind of where everyone was like, I need to get outside, like, help,
Yeah.
SOS,
No,
like
what a
whatever.
perfect timing.
Yeah, so that also just aligned really quickly, and so I started traveling to these different states hosting, but I was also working a full-time job at the time. So I was like, okay, well, like, let me work 90-hour weeks at my full-time job, and then go on like a Friday night drive or fly to wherever I was going. By the way, I was like broke at the time, like absolutely using my last dollars for these,
I was like,
and I
is
was
this
like,
self-funded?
yeah, fully self-funded. And at the time, I just really, I mean, I still believe this, that if you put money into it, you know, it'll always come back to you into something good karma for sure. But I was doing these meetups on my weekends of my jobs, and then I was like literally not sleeping. Like, it was so crazy. And then Saturday I would host a meetup in one state or one city, and then I would fly to the next state or city on Sundays and do a meetup there, and then go back to my job on Mondays. Like, it was crazy, but I love it. I loved it. I
Yeah.
loved it now. I love it then. But yeah, it's just one of those things that I just started traveling for that throughout the states, and then it kind of just turned into otherwise that I just kept traveling, and people were like, oh, you're this travel creator. And I'm like, I'm sorry, what? I was like, what are you talking about?
What are some things that you learned about like making friends and about people's need to make friends? And I'm sure like you heard so many stories from all these different places and gathering these communities together. What is something that you learned from doing all that traveling and meeting these groups of people?
I have not only learned so much about myself, but about other people. I think myself in general, it's been that every single person is no matter what they say, everyone's lonely in some sort of aspect, or has been lonely at some point. I think that people are always craving something more, and whether in terms of like that's friendship or life or their job or something like that, that everybody's always looking for something. I think that where you meet a new friend really matters. So that's why I do really specific meetups. So a lot of them are outside in a public park, out, like, there's no structure necessarily. It's more just like things for you there. So I'll bring like games or something, or, you know, whatever, but everything else is just kind of up to the person. But it's so much better than, not saying you can't meet someone in a bar, but it's more, if me and you met in a park, right? And we hung out all day, just nothing really sticking us together but our conversation, it's going to be really easy in the future to be like, okay, well, what is our next hangout, right? If we meet in a bar, okay, we've met in a bar. Now, where do we go? We have to like do something that's going to continue that. So the best part about the meeting up in a public space or like a park or like doing an activity is that you kind of already done something together. So it has pushed the boundaries of the relationship already. And so the next time you hang out, it's going to be a lot easier to kind of find something mutual, or just be like, oh, we could just hang out. Like, it doesn't have to be anything crazy, right? So I think when it comes to like actual meeting people, is that people need to approach friends making as kind of like dating. People take dating so seriously, and they're like, let me ask these questions, let me do this. And then you want to meet a new friend, and they're like, oh, we didn't get along. Okay, well, that's it. And you're like, okay, well, why did you try so hard on this date to like learn about them and do this and do that and like kind of try to find that mutual interest? Why don't you like take a friendship date and kind of do the same thing? Like, why don't you kind of like wine and dine each other almost, and see if
Wine
it
and
work?
dine.
Yeah, and I think
love
that when it comes to friendship stuff, people get a little more weary, because with a dating aspect, you're like, okay, I don't feel the romantic sparks or whatever, like maybe we could just be friends, and then you never speak to each other again, you know what I mean? It's like whatever. But with friends, it's like, okay, well, if you didn't have that initial, you can maybe see if it works, but then again, like if it doesn't, then it doesn't, and you don't get along, which I think a lot of people get scared of, because how do you kind of be like, hey, we're not really good friends, like, bye,
awkward,
instead of being like,
okay,
no romantic spark, like it's like there's no friendship spark, like that can happen, and a lot of people don't realize that. And so it kind of just is a weird like mock-up of that. But I think that everyone has something going on. You just have to like find what's best for you and go from there. And that's like what I've learned most, is that there's always going to be someone else. You just have to like shop around low key, like,
Yeah.
and be okay with that. And it's kind of like dating.
Yeah. And I think, I mean, that's adult like friendship making. I think the post schooling, whether it is like high school or college, like whenever anybody has left the like a structured environment where people are there that are, your age. And so you're in a building full of friends like that are there for you. When you leave that environment, no matter what it is, and go into adulthood friendships, and then especially if you're moving to a city that you're not from, if you're going into a workplace with not a lot of people your age, if you are like
Working from home.
if you're working from
Oh
home,
my
that has made this is a whole new wave
Yeah.
of this need for connection. And actually, amazing point. Adult friendship making, very hard. Working remote and working from home, and then you have to have these intentional meetups and
Yeah.
these intentional, like, I'm going to go out and have the sort of like, those first chats, like, oh, what's your name? Where are you from? Like those almost like dating chats with somebody in order to hopefully like find my people and find my community. And I like that idea you're saying of like approaching it like dating, because it very much is.
100%.
From these, do you have like pockets of friend groups now, or have you sort of made like this one big glob?
I was just talking about this with somebody the other day, where I was like, I don't really have one friend group. It's that I have a bunch of individual friends that all know each other because I group them together a lot. But it's more like I kind of have like my separate little, people. And then we kind of all do different things together, or all have different vibes together. And then I just kind of, when I host get-togethers of my own or something, everyone already knows each other. And that's the best part, is like everyone is kind of in that little world of mine, but just in different kind of aspects or different things I would do with each one of them. So they're kind of each their own little character in my life that I kind of just take together, and then but they're all in the same movie universe, so it's just it's nice.
Movie universe, yes,
Yeah.
your personal Marvel. I like that you have with these meetups that you said, bringing it outside in a park, sort of activity, like mild mini adventure related, because I think I've talked a lot about travel friendships and like when you're going on trips specifically and meeting people when you're traveling, which I
Best.
mean, you were literally
Yeah.
going everywhere. It's the best, and it really fast tracks
Yeah.
these connections because you're in weird situations. And I think this can be extended to just like meeting a bunch of people in a park, because it is different. You're not in a bar, you're not with other like stimuli around you, or like something else to distract. You're having an activity, you're just there with each other. I think you have more stories, like you end up opening up more. There is a different level of friendship that you reach when you are experiencing that together.
It's just easy. Like it sounds okay, it's not easy, but it's easier to kind of be in a space of, you're not enclosed by walls, you're in a place that you feel safe in, like out in a park and nature, whatever. You're in the trees. I always say laying on grass makes you feel some type of way. And it's because you just feel so comfortable. It's like almost like you're going back to your childhood, just like laying in a park. It's very open. It's very nice. It's very chill. But it's also, when you go to a different country and you're kind of just there exploring, it's kind of like when you feel overstimulated or something like that, you're going to go sit in a park. You're going to go sit on a bench and people watch, or talk to someone next to you and think. It is like a park is a safe place that you're mentally like, I know a park. It doesn't have to be.
She said, I know a park.
Like I know the tree. I know that grass. Like you feel like, even though you're in a different country or foreign place or whatever, or meeting someone new, at least you're in a place, that a park where like you feel like this is comfortable. You know a park. You know a park.
Yeah. Yeah, a park, and you're
Everyone knows
like,
park.
comfortable. It's very much a community-oriented space. Yeah. If you're going to one of these meetups, well, let me say this. If somebody is going to like a friend meetup or searching for friends and finding these spaces where there are other people looking for friends and everything, but you're going to, make friends from scratch. Baking. Do you have any tips on how to approach, I guess it's not a room. Like, let's say the park. Walk into the park, first move, you're feeling awkward, you're feeling nervous. Any tips?
I think the first thing that I always tell people when they come up, especially when they're brand new, whatever, is the first thing is if this is not for you, you need to try again. And if maybe this park meetup isn't for you, maybe the next one is, or maybe this park meetup isn't for you, maybe a dinner party is. It's always going to be different. So when you go into it, if you're like, oh, maybe this isn't for me, 20 minutes in, you have to, okay, first of all, feel it out. Make yourself a little more like dive deep.
Uncomfortable. Like, it's gonna feel uncomfortable for everybody.
But also, when you step into a place like that, you have to like literally mentally take out your brain and be like, every single other person here is looking for the same exact thing as me. And that's what those meetups are for literally people looking for friends. And so when you go into it, you can't just be like, oh my God, all these people are already talking to each other. You gotta be like, wow, they all probably came alone as me. And I need to just step in and be like, hey guys, my name's Marissa. Like, how's it going? Like, whatever. And kind of just do that. I always go in with like maybe 2 or 3 questions that one aren't job related, not like a where do you live, like what's your vibe, like whatever, where are you from, not like anything like that. You walk in there and literally be like, if someone handed you $30 just right now, like what would you do with it? What was the first thing you would buy? Like random things that kind of get a conversation
You're the
going.
person I'd want to sit next to on a bus, like a long bus ride. I know it. It was, I know, I'm like, she's going to ask me some whack question. I'm going to be so ready for it. I'm ready to hear some unhinged question, and I look over, I'm like, yeah, this is gonna be a great ride.
Whenever I stay in hostels, I'm like the first person. I'm like, hey, so what do you guys want to do tonight? Like, what are we doing? What's the vibe? Where are we going? And I think it's just because I think that everyone's there to kind of have that or wait for someone to do that. And I'm just, listen, if I'm there, I'm there. Like, and if you don't want to make friends or something like that, totally cool. You're doing your thing. I'm doing my thing, like whatever. But I just think talking to people is the key to life. I've learned so much about just traveling, meeting random people, talking to random people on the streets or like the restaurant or the bartender or whatever it is, that I am so just like, everyone wants to chat. Even if it's for 5 minutes, everyone loves a random chat. Unless I'm sitting probably next to you on the plane, I don't want to chat. But
that's fair. And honestly, with that, and this is the extrovert in me, I will catch a vibe.
I will.
Like, I know, maybe I'll start it. Sometimes I don't have to, which I love, but like maybe I'll start a conversation. But you can figure out if like they're like, no, I'm good.
Yeah. And that's fine. That's totally fine. And I think you need to know if they're being like,
okay, I was watching your content. One of my favorite things, you're everywhere. You do the craziest things. And so if somebody's like watching your videos and being like, oh, I want to sort of get to that level of bravery, of comfort with doing something new, I really think that you can start. This is also a great way to make friends, going out in your community and doing something. I got stuck in New York last year, coming back from Europe for a week. We had a bunch of hurricanes on the East Coast, flew back to New York. They canceled my flight to Charleston, and it was very clear they canceled flights for like the next 3 days. It was crazy. Thankfully, I love New York, but I was just there, and I'm in New York often for work. And so people are like, what do you do when you go to New York? I'm like, I go to meetings, I film content, and I eat a lot because I love New York food. This was time where I didn't plan to be there. So I had an open schedule. I stayed with a friend, and I was like, you know what? I'm going to try something different. And so I went to an archery class.
Oh, yeah.
I love archery.
Yeah.
I was like, this is sick. Nobody else had booked the class. It was just me. Shout out to Gotham Archery. It was great.
Yeah, I went there.
Love them.
Oh my
love
God,
They're so cool. I loved my
nice.
instructor. It was so nice. And then they were like, oh, like, what are you here for? I was like, I'm honestly just here for the vibes. And like, I wanted to do something adventurous. And then if you haven't tried this, you really, really should. I went to, I think Brooklyn Circus something, acrobat school.
Oh, yeah.
And I did a trapeze class.
Yes.
Oh,
yes.
Awesome. It is so much fun, but there's just like little ways of like being brave. Like there are so many fun activities around, like anywhere where you live. And just, oh, oh, it's a random day. Why don't I go take that class by myself? Why don't I go sign up for this?
Yeah.
And you start to
Exposure
build up
therapy.
exposure therapy, because you start to build up that muscle
Yeah.
where, yeah, you're going to be like, oh yeah, why don't I buy that plane ticket and
Yeah.
go by myself? Oh yeah, why don't I, book this last minute tour that I just saw that seems really, really fun? You'll find the best adventures come from that type of thinking.
And I always tell people it'll be really awkward in the beginning for yourself sometimes, especially when you're going dinner solo or something like that. But to be honest with you, like if you go to anywhere in Europe or anywhere, and there are people sitting there reading a book by themselves at dinner or whatever, like no one will, one, say anything to you. No one cares. Like it's not that big of a deal. But two, it's like these people that are, no one's paying attention to you just sitting there by yourself. Like it is not, no one's thinking anything crazy. No one's doing anything crazy.
I love that. I always say, I'm like, my favorite place to be is in a room full of people I don't know. Cause it's like room full of possibilities of friends.
Yeah. I think it's just nice to constantly, one, learn about other people, but I think it helps in ways of talking to people that isn't the same thing over and over again. Because a lot of people are like, oh, you meet so many people, like, does it get boring, blah, blah, blah. I'm like, no, because I don't ask them the same questions every time. I went to a dinner maybe a few months ago, and the one rule was you can't talk about what you do.
And I love that.
It was the best dinner ever. And they gave you a question. This is so crazy. This is the best thing ever. They gave you a question in an envelope with somebody's name on it. Someone else, for everyone had each other. And you had to ask them the question and get the answer without them knowing that you were asking them that question.
Say that again?
So like, say I was trying to find out your favorite color, right? It wasn't that simple. There was way more difficult questions, but I had to ask you your favorite color without me being like, hey, Sarah, what's your favorite color?
Your favorite color?
So like, what, right? So we were in a group, right? And I'd be like, oh, like, I love the color of that shirt you're wearing. Like, that's my favorite color. And then I would be like, do you wear red a lot or what? And then you'd be like, oh, well, my favorite color is yellow, so I wear yellow a lot or something. And I would get the answer out of you by not asking you that question of what's your favorite color. And then at the end, everyone had to guess who had who of what questions by the way you asked them questions. It was really cool.
So
yeah, it was
fun.
really cool. But it's just thinking of different things that you can kind of go around asking people without them knowing.
I know you've got a mental list.
Yes.
You think you can give me 3 like of your best, I'm saying unhinged, they don't have to be unhinged I guess, but like best intro questions that will like really get conversation going?
I think my favorite thing was, what's the best memory you've had in the last year? Because it starts a good conversation, but then if you say like, oh, I went to, Portugal or whatever, you're like, oh, I've been to Portugal, and then you have something to talk about. So you always want to think of something that is a conversation starter that's like, oh, something to talk about, right? So if you ask them about like where they live or their job, like obviously they live probably near you or something or like whatever, but that's one. 2, I would say probably what's your favorite hobby, and not in terms of like what do you do in your free time or whatever. It's like what's your favorite hobby to like bring a friend to or like enjoy. And then my favorite one of all time is if you could give a TED talk about something for 30 minutes, what would it be? And that's
obsessed with that.
Because then they will be like, oh my God, because they're so passionate about something. And then they'll give their TED talk, but it's like also something they're super passionate about. So you learn something that they're passionate about. It'll probably be a conversation starter, obviously, but then 3, you'll be able to learn something that they really enjoy, and then you'll be able to kind of just go off of that. And then they'll be like, well, what about you? And then it'll just be easy to go back and forth. The TED Talk one is like my favorite because I'm like, oh my God, do I pick one? Like which one do I pick?
I love asking people, like, do they have a fandom? What fandoms are they a part of?
Oh,
because I think that, and this is something I've learned in adulthood, because 4 years ago, I'd say, I didn't have a fandom.
Okay.
I didn't. And I remember thinking, I was like, it was past like hobbies. Like when people ask, it was like, what do you enjoy?
Yeah.
Who are you outside of what you do?
Yeah.
I was like, I don't think I have an answer. I was like, and thankfully I've loved pretty much most of the jobs I've ever done. I love working, which, good and bad. So I really struggled with identity outside of that. And I found identity in fandoms. And now there's all over the place. And it's
Interesting.
so, oh yeah. Oh, it's awesome. And it's so funny because a lot of times I'll ask somebody that and they're like, oh my gosh, like I don't think I have one. Because they immediately go to like, for fandom, Lord of the Rings, they want to go to like Harry Potter, things like that. But there are many fandoms.
Everywhere.
Love Island fandom. There's,
Oh, the ultimate.
Love Island, the ultimate
Yes.
fan, like that was a community builder.
Yes.
Arcane, awesome fandom. I
Yes.
think those people are so creative. I have not watched it, but I'm like, oh, vibes wise,
Yeah.
like I'm obsessed with it. Book fandoms,
Yeah. Book
right
fandoms are
behind me.
big. Big.
Oh, they're huge. Actually,
Yeah.
my first fandom was books and fantasy book series, and then that led to others. And so I'm like, I love a fandom. I think it's so great. It's also nice to connect with people. Like if they say a fandom that you're into, like diving
Oh, it's
into
the
that
deepest,
niche
deepest dark. Yeah.
topic. Yeah, it's
1,000 depth
awesome.
speed. Yeah. The
Yeah.
biggest, a big one as well. Just one last one is, if you could do a job that you don't do now, that doesn't have to do with time or money or anything, what would you
I
do?
love that one.
Yeah,
That's
yeah,
so,
yeah.
what's
That was a good
your
one.
wait? Do you have your answer?
I would
Obviously,
be,
you have your
I would be
answer.
like a DJ.
Oh my god, that's sick.
That'd be so cool. I would be like a DJ. I don't even know. I just honestly, I love a party. I love a
Yeah.
party.
Oh my god. You know what? Mine's bartender.
Oh, I love
Which like
bartending.
I feel I love it like when I'm
love
at
talking to
parties and
people.
things. I love talking to people. I
'cause we're
always look at
extroverts.
bartenders. Yes. No, it's the extroverts
Has
being like
nothing to do with
somebody's
actual
gonna hear
bartending.
bartender? No. Somebody's gonna hear bartender and be like, what? Why? And I'm
Honestly,
like,
I have to say though, it's because for me, it's like an ADHD dream of like I'm doing something while being able to talk to people,
yes.
while
And
meeting
there's somebody
people.
constantly needing your attention. My first
And I'm
day of
making
work.
money.
Yeah.
Great.
Yeah. It's like, and it's just, and bartending especially is so about like chit chatting and meeting people. And it's like, you always have the coolest conversations, like just at a random bar. My first day working at all, like outside of like babysitting, my first job was at Ulta on Black Friday. And no, first day of work ever. Black Friday retail.
It set
It
you up for
was
failure on that one. I'm not gonna
well,
lie.
here's the well, you would think I got home and of course at some ungodly time my mom was like, how'd it go? And I turned to her and I go, Mom, everywhere I turned, somebody needed my help and wanted to talk to me.
That's
It was
so
the
true.
best day of my life. I couldn't turn my shoulder without somebody needing foundation.
You're like,
or
everyone wanted
eyeshadow.
to talk.
Everybody wanted to talk to me. It was the best day ever. My mom was like, all right, freak, go to bed.
You're
Thanks.
like, okay, therapy
Okay,
session in
that's
an
it.
Ulta.
Yeah,
Okay.
they love
all right.
it. I was like, everybody wants to be my friend. No, they just
That's
want to
so
check out,
funny.
girl. Like it's not that big of a deal. But no, it's so
funny.
these fun questions are so, like great to just dive into these hilarious conversations since you do meet people in so many places and you're very passionate, it sounds like, about like bringing online communities offline. But what are your thoughts on using like online tools like social media and everything to nurture those friendships afterwards? Because I found that I lean heavily on social to continue the friendships that I've met in like other
yeah.
countries and things like that.
I will stalk you. I'll be your biggest fan. I will be up in there like, yeah, girl. And I met you once in a bathroom in a bar in like Croatia.
Oh, bathroom friendships, like when you really like get into it and you're like holding each other's wet hands or washing your hands, you're like, you're the most beautiful woman ever. Yeah.
I think that social media, if you use it correctly in terms of like actual, like whatever, I'm learning about you even when I'm not with you. So it's making our connection of like whatever I thought I knew about you deeper. And it helps with like, even if, okay, right, we've never met in person. And I'm
I
like,
wish somebody could go into our DMs
and I'm like,
right now and like
it's
see.
but it's like, I see your videos and stuff and I'm like, oh, yeah, we would probably get along really well. And I think that's great. But I learn more about your personality, about your life, about whatever. And I see that of like, okay, maybe we would get along or maybe we wouldn't get along. But I think that when you use social media correctly in terms of seeing different personalities or seeing different whatever, it's so nice to be able to basically meet the person without meeting them. You got to be careful though with that parasocial relationship life.
Yes.
But when terms of actually getting to like know them and connect with them and whatever, like that's different than like if you're just looking at someone's life from afar. But the like pursue of trying to be a friend to this person, it is so nice to be able to like learn about them and be like, hey, I saw you went to, blah, blah, blah last weekend, or I learned that you had the flight delays and stuff. So I'm like, okay, cool. Like we're on this, like whatever.
Yeah.
So
And
it's just,
I was like, we were messaging you this morning. I'm like, girl, I am on the struggle bus today.
Yeah, but it kind of just puts you in that perspective of like, you feel like you know them. On Saturday, I just had a No More Lonely Friends meetup, and this guy, Ben, that we've been following each other for 4 years. We've never met in person, and he just showed up. And I was like, I looked at him and I said, okay, wait, am I tripping? Or like, wait, we've never met in person, right? He's like, no, we've never met in person. I'm like, whoa, that's so weird.
Isn't that the weirdest
I feel
thing?
like I know you already, and I feel like I already have met you, but I have not met you.
Yeah.
And it's so weird, but it's so great because then I'm like, we just started talking right off, because we've known each other for 4 years, and it was just so easy. And then he was like, cool, like, let's hang out next week. And I'm like, okay, why haven't we done this the last 4 years? I don't know. But it's like, finally we met in person or whatever. But it's just so great because you can kind of just like skip that awkward part of like the kind of beginning of a friendship, which is good and bad. Don't get me wrong. I think like everyone needs to go there. But in good terms of like getting close to somebody, like it's nice because you learn so much about them and like also see just like what they're doing in life and stuff. And you get to kind of just be friends without even making that solid connection off in person, but also you're doing it online. So it's kind of mixing both. And then you kind of get to skip the awkward part low-key.
Yeah.
Which can be good.
I feel that. There's several people I can think of at the top of my head that if I were to invite people to my wedding again, they'd be on the list. I've never actually met them in person. I was texting one of them this morning.
But also a thing like I would have never met you, like if I didn't have you know what I mean? So it's just stuff like that where I'm friends with people literally across the world and I've never met them and they live in New Zealand or Australia or like Japan, and I'm like, we would have literally never crossed paths if we didn't have the social media.
So we do this segment on this podcast called Carry On Only. I got 5 questions, like rapid fire. Now, I'm going to be real. I curated these questions knowing it may be there could be a rapid fire answer. I probably want to hear the story behind it.
Okay,
so,
fair enough.
Giving you permission now. That I'm very excited about these. So, Carry On Only. Are you ready?
I'm ready.
All right. This is one of my favorites. I saw I wrote these questions. I'm like, these are brilliant.
Yeah, you're like, wow.
Wow. She's a genius. Travel mistake you won't make again.
Forgetting my passport in the RV in Switzerland.
Oh, we've all been there.
I waited 3 hours in the airport waiting for my flight. And then once we were boarding, I opened up my passport holder and it wasn't there.
Oh, no, I haven't been there, actually. I've been similar, but no, it's the waiting for 3 hours in complete ignorant bliss for me.
How did I get through to the gate without a passport?
Actually, yeah.
You tell me, because I don't know.
Oh my God. I left my phone in a park in Croatia. And I was traveling with 2 friends and their flight was a little bit earlier than mine. So I got to the airport, thank God, early. And we had gotten into this, I think it was Uber. I don't really know. It was Dubrovnik. And so like the traveling is kind of weird, but it was this guy, and this really, really, really tall man. This was a large man and who drove us. And he, from personality perspective, was kind of like a little grumpy. But it was like a kind of a fun grumpy. And so like we're chatting with him. We're on the way to the airport and I look at my friends and I go, I don't have my phone. And it was a 30-minute drive from like where we were to the airport. So we drop them off. I give them a hug. I look at Grumpy Pants and I go, hey, can I get you to bring me exactly back to where we were and then come straight back to the airport? He goes, what? And I was like, I don't know where my phone is and I'm freaking out. And he goes, okay, we find it. And it was awesome.
And he said, I'm dedicated to the craft.
He was like, let's go. I was like, okay. So he took me and he had to like speak to people, and somebody, thank God, had taken my phone and brought it into this building that happened to be near the park, but it was the only building there. And he was like, maybe they brought it in there. I was like, why would they bring it in there? And then this other really tall man came out and like handed me my phone because they
got it like back.
I got it back. It was awesome. It was really a community experience. He's like I'm using his phone to DM my friends on his Instagram, like trying to like get things, and he's looking at my location, and he was like, this doesn't show at the park, it shows outside of the park. I'm like, what does that mean? And then he was like, we got it. And I like was trying not to freak out, but I was gonna cry, and you could tell this man was not ready for a girl to cry in the back of his car. He was like, he goes, whoa, 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 whoa.
like please, I can't do emotions.
Like, whoa. It's okay. We'll find the phone. We're on our way. Everything's fine. He's like, I cannot handle a girl's tears behind.
I love this man.
Right now, I was like, I'm really good. Yeah, and then on the way back, he goes, we have time. I'm going to take you to a place to take a picture. I looked disheveled because I was going to the airport and I had already cried. So he like takes me to this picturesque area to take a picture like this. And I go, oh, do you want to take a selfie? He goes, no. I go, oh, okay. And so we get to the airport and I'm like, thank you so much. And I look at this man who is genuinely like 6'6". He's huge. Oh my God. Grumpy pants. And I go, hey, are you a hugger? And he goes, okay. It's I go, thank you for helping me find my phone. And
no
then I got on my
selfie, but he'll take a hug.
Yeah. No selfie, but he will take a hug.
Okay, fair enough.
Yeah. No, but leaving places anywhere. Okay, next. Yeah, rapid fire, my behind. That was my fault. Okay, number 2. You won't be caught dead without these 3 things when traveling. What are they?
I got it. Compression socks.
Ooh, that's a good one.
Number one, compression socks. 2, a portable charger.
Yeah.
Saved my life.
Took me years to get on that train.
That's
I was
crazy.
always the like, oh,
Your phone's dead.
Oh,
you
always.
are that friend.
I am. Yeah. It's being charged by Hope.
You know, being charged by Hope is
That's-
crazy.
That's exactly. I've been running that game for a long time. And my husband's like, can you not do that? Because you're in the middle of like New York City and your phone's dead. And I was like, yeah, but I memorized the way to the hotel, so I'm really good.
I actually am fine, so don't worry about me. And then noise canceling headphones.
Oh yeah.
That is my saving grace on planes and has changed my life.
I love a white noise, like on my phone, like I use the background noise. Put that on, I'm zonked out.
I'm in it. I could sleep anywhere with that. I'm fine with it.
So nice. True. It's like when they put, like the parents put the speaker inside the carrier thing for babies.
Oh yeah.
And they carry the white noise. Yes. And I'm like, that's me.
I'm actually,
the baby.
I am the baby. I am baby. I'm baby.
I'm baby. Okay. Oh, this one kind of controversial. Are you pro or anti selfie stick when traveling?
Honestly, I always have like some sort of, I wouldn't do the phone selfie stick. This is so funny actually, because what's the difference between if I have a camera on the end or like a phone? But hear me out. I just think the phone looks tacky. So if it's a camera of some sort, live, laugh, love. Pro, honestly, get your photo. Like, You'll probably, people save up their whole entire lives to go to this one spot. Take your dang selfie stick and get that photo.
Yeah. I think I used to be anti because I used to mainly seeing people with it. I was like, that's a lot. That's a lot. But then I see the content.
That's true.
And I'm like, oh my God, they got that. I know they got that with a selfie stick and that looks insane.
I was anti selfie stick until I started solo traveling.
Yeah.
And then I was like, oh, I need it because no one can take my photo. Or I'm just like, I could do it better than someone else. So I'm like, might as well just do it with the selfie stick. Or like, I do like a tripod stick thing or whatever. Yeah. But yeah, I'm pro.
Do you have the Osmo Pocket? The Digi Pocket?
No, I have my GoPro that I just use. And I use like the long selfie stick, you know.
I think GoPro might be my move for next year. I'm doing a lot of traveling next year. But I just got the Pocket 3 like 2 months ago and I'm a big fan. Big fan.
Huge fan.
All right, number 4. Next on your plans, like tickets are booked, and then next on your bucket list.
Tomorrow, I go to the Cayman Islands, which is woohoo! Super excited about that. And then, what was the second question?
Next on your bucket list. Not booked yet, but you want to go.
Antarctica.
Oh my gosh, great one.
That's like big bucket list vibes. That's like when it happens kind of place. You know what I mean?
That's how I feel about Australia, because Australia, it's like, I mean,
I just went for my birthday.
I saw. Oh no, I watched.
I was there for a month. It was like the best ever. It was so great.
So lovely for you.
It was lovely. You need to go. We'll go next time together.
Let's go together.
Okay.
Don't say that. Don't invite me to a place and then not mean it.
Booked.
Booked and enter. Done. All right, last one. Ooh, I love this one.
Okay.
I wrote them. Give me your best friendship pickup line.
Honestly, just complimenting them on literally anything.
Good point.
That is the easiest, most life-hacking way to literally anything, and to even coming into a conversation, butting into something, anything. Or if they're like reading something and you're like, oh, what's this book about? Easy.
Yeah.
Easy said and done. But like complimenting something, I'm like, okay. Like,
Yeah.
you like me, I like you, let's do it. Let's
Yeah.
be friends. And
Yeah.
it's easy. It's an easy in. It's also just something that, you know, if you comment on my sweater, I'm like, thanks. I got it on sale. And it has pockets. Like,
And then
come
it keeps on
easy,
going.
and then it keeps going. Yeah. Easy in.
100%. That is
You can
really
also see
easy.
someone's personality by the way they respond.
Oh my God, true. That's very true.
Because if they're like, oh, thanks, then you're like, they're not interested. But if
They're
they're
not
like,
interested.
oh my God, girl, let me send you the link. Let me get you this, this, and that. Easy.
That's me. That's me. That's my girl. I love it. Marissa, thank you so much for coming to Airplane Mode. This conversation was awesome. I knew from your content, I was like, this is going to be vibes
Yes.
to the 9.
To the 9.
It was amazing. If you were listening on Spotify or Apple Podcasts, don't forget to check out the EF Ultimate Break website for bonus content. Just go to www.efultimatebreak.com/podcast. Guys, thank you so much for listening. Please go check out all of Marissa's content. It's amazing. And if you enjoyed this episode, please like and subscribe and check out more on our channel. Now the seatbelt sign is off, and we'll see you next time. Bye.